They moved above and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued the day and night.
Good evening and welcome to our service. So delighted that you're here. Yes, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It's coming into that time of year when, we begin to celebrate the dawning of more light, love, and peace in our world. So I'm Barbara Schreiner Trudell. Welcome. I'm honored to actually work, live, and play on the territory known as the City of Toronto, which is the historical and traditional territory of many Indigenous nations, including the Anishinaabe and Wendat peoples, and more recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit and the Haudenosaunee nations. And I recognize it is now home to many diverse First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island. And by making this an acknowledgement, we strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation by honoring the land, the history, and the unique Indigenous heritage. And this fosters our commitment to the recommendations set forth by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We recognize our oneness, we realize our history, and we choose to create a new reality. We are one. And our vision here at CSL on the Lake is transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. So let us join together in meditation as we let go of the day, the weekend, the week, and allow ourselves just to come into a place of quiet, a place of stillness. I invite you to take a deep breath in. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. And as you exhale, allow your body to relax. And one more deep breath. And again, relaxing the body. What I know in this moment is that there's one power in the universe, that it is an infinite creative intelligence, fully operational, fully present, as each and every one of us. It is with that knowing and that understanding that I accept and know that this day, this moment, this year has been a gift and a blessing. That everything that is occurring or has occurred somehow is part of a bigger idea than what I may consciously comprehend. So I breathe life into this moment. I connect with the possibility that I am part of something remarkable, that who I am and what I bring is somehow essential. And this is something that I know of all people, everywhere present. All are connected. All are important. All create a greater sense of possibility and harmony. I see the differences creating greatness. Diversity expanding consciousness, deepening love, respect, admiration. And so day by day and moment by moment, I celebrate life. I celebrate this moment, this season, as an opportunity to rest, restore, renew, to practice kindness, compassion, love, and to live in a state of peace and grace. So grateful for this time and this moment, knowing that all is well, I release this meditation into the law of mind. It is done. And so it is. Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone must change. No one stays the same. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. But that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds and the sun lights up the sky, and the hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring. A wounded heart will heal, but never much too soon. Yes, everything must change. Will the young become the old, and mysteries do unfold. But that's the way of time. Oh, nothing and no one goes unchanged. Well, there are not many things in this life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds and the sun lights up the sky, and the hummingbirds, they fly. Rain comes from the clouds and the sun lights up the sky, and the hummingbirds, they fly. The rain comes from the clouds and the sun lights up the sky, and the hummingbirds, they fly. They fly. Everything must change. Wow, Cheryl Renee. Whew, what a voice. Well, the message today is called Ode to Joy, and it really is about changing our perspective, the way we think about life, the way we think about our journey, the way that we move forward, and the energy that we put into things. And true and lasting joy really begins in the mind, nowhere else. It isn't about a new car or a new house or falling in love. It really is this something that's deep inside of us. So as we come to a place of loving and accepting ourselves and moving forward with that awareness and understanding, we begin to create a life that really honors who we are innately and what it is that we bring into this life experience. So joy is a state of mind and an orientation of the heart. It's a state of contentment and confidence, and it's also hope. And I think, we've come through some very challenging times, and I think we're still feeling the brunt of it. I know we have members right now who are living with COVID. And so when we look at what is going on in the world, and we look at all that we've gone through over the last few years, it can cause us to feel fearful and concerned. And that's understandable. Alan Cohen, in the book Joy is My Compass, Taking the Risk to Follow Your Bliss, wrote, we can look upon our sins or our healing, our frailties or our magnificence, our limitations or our spirit. We cannot see both. And we will receive more of whatever we look upon. That's the key. Wherever your attention is, that's what's going to grow and expand. Every thought is a seed, an investment in more of the same. So it is a wise student of truth who chooses to look upon the good and allow the rest to go. Sage advice. Sometimes we get focused in the wrong direction, and then we kind of wonder why life looks the way it does and why there's challenges, problems, difficulties, why there is things going on in the world around us, or why our life feels to be stalled in some way or another. But ultimately, everything is moving in the direction of our highest and best good. And joy is a natural attribute. It's not something that we get from somewhere. It's not about achievement. It's not about doing. And when we look at the world that we live in and how it's so focused on, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do the other thing in order to achieve success. The truth is that beingness is far more powerful than doingness. And I think sometimes we get a little caught up in the doing aspect. And so we want to begin to reframe some of what's going on so that we can begin to experience life from a different vantage point. I can think back to a time as a little girl, looking under the Christmas tree and finding a Barbie doll. And this is back in the days when it was like the first Barbie doll ever, or pretty close to it. And just the joy and elation of unwrapping that, and it was my favorite toy for so many years. I felt so happy to have it. And it was kind of nice too that my name was Barbie and the doll's name was Barbie. So they kind of matched. So that for me was also a great joy. But when we look at our achievements today and we look at, getting to the end of a really busy day and a sense of contentment that comes with knowing that we did something great, that somehow we made someone else's life a little bit better, or we accomplished the tasks at hand, there's a sense of contentment that can come from that. And I think if we begin to focus more on that, then as we move forward, we experience a greater sense of joy overall, because it's always there. It's always there. It's not something that arrives when we get a new car. The joy is something that's innate in us. And when we allow it life, when we feed it, just like Alan Cohen said, we have a choice. We can look upon what is good or beautiful or wonderful, fulfilling, satisfying, what inspires, delights, engages us, or we can focus on the doubt, the worry, the fear, the limitation. But wherever we focus, that is the seed that we are planting. So as we come into this time of change, and I believe that's really where we are in a time of great change. And I think we should get excited about that. I think that as we begin to embrace change, and I know nobody's real comfortable with that, but as we begin to embrace change, we actually open ourselves up to this infinite potential that's within us. We allow ourselves to become teachable. We allow ourselves to expand our minds and hearts in ways that really, truly make a difference overall, not only in our lives, but in life overall, right? For everybody. It's like seeing someone someone on the street who needs support. And even if we have no money, we can still offer a smile, a kind word, maybe even a conversation. It's time for us to acknowledge that how we show up in the world is what's creating the world that we live in. You see, consciousness creates all of it. It's not by accident, it's consciousness. So the consciousness that I bring into everything that I do is either lifting it up or dragging it down. The consciousness that you bring day by day, moment by moment, is either lifting or reducing. And so it's up to each one of us to look at this season, right? This is the season of being kind and compassionate and, feeding the homeless and working at a shelter to provide a meal, or, right? We do these things this month or this week. But what if instead of it being a one-off, what if we committed ourselves to being the very best that we could be and giving the best to every person we come in contact with? Imagine that world. Imagine walking down the street and seeing someone that maybe you don't know, but you just smile and say good morning. Or when you see somebody on the street who's asking for money, take a moment and say hello. Whether you give money or not is irrelevant. I remember many years ago, I was on my way to teach a meditation class, and I was walking along, and what I'd done was I'd put a bunch of change in my pocket. I was carrying a backpack, and so didn't want to have to take that off if I came across someone. And I just had this feeling that there was somebody who would need this money. Prior to this, I'd had some interactions with an alcoholic husband that caused me to be very resistant to anyone who smelled of alcohol, or even if I suspected that they'd been drinking. But on this day, I, filled my pocket probably with $7 or $8 of change, and walking down the street, and I see a man walking toward me, and he's staggering and not looking so good. And he's asking people as he passes them for money. And most people are choosing to kind of step around him and ignore him. And immediately what I thought about was, oh, this is the person. This is the one that this money is for. And so when he got to me, he's looking at my shoes and saying, do you have a quarter for the bus? And I took his hand and held it while I looked at him until he lifted his head and looked at me. And I put the money in his hand and I gently cupped it. And I said, have a wonderful day. And I walked away. The look in his eyes when we connected in that moment was remarkable. It was something I hadn't witnessed before. And what I knew in that moment is the gift I'd given was a gift of love. It had nothing to do with the money. Didn't much matter what he did with it. I didn't care. All I knew is that this person needed to be acknowledged, recognized, seen. That's what this season is all about. It's about seeing each other. It's about acknowledging each other for who we are, not who we assume someone is. It's about opening our hearts so wide that we can do a kindness, that we can be gentle with each other, that we can show up and be that light in the world that does make a difference. It's a way of orienting the heart so that we are paving the way for greatness to evolve and expand. And so we touch lives in many different ways. And it's up to us to make the decision to be all that we can be, to stop playing small, to stop pretending that somehow the world owes us a favor, but rather that we're here to live fully, to give our very best into this world, and not just at Christmas time. It's time for us to spark that light in us so that in every moment of every hour of every day, we're finding a way to be in service to life. And it starts with us. It starts with us. It starts with acknowledging that within me, there's this infinite power and presence, and I was created perfect, whole, and complete, not broken and flawed, not somehow less than. I am enough. You are enough. And when we come to fully accept and understand ourselves from that perspective, there's immense joy that floods us, but also a sense of, a straightening of the back and, a squaring off of the shoulders where we can look each other eye to eye without fear or doubt or worry or what are you going to take from me, but rather in a place of giving, of loving, of supporting, of being. And it is in those moments that we experience true and lasting joy. It is in those moments that joy that's always been there all of a sudden just bubbles up and overflows. And it is expressing so loudly, so beautifully, so profoundly that it changes our very DNA, I'm sure. And what it does is through, the law of correspondence, it is drawing back to us more of the same. Beautiful things come from living in that way. And there's a great luxury in being who we were created to be. I was writing in my journal this morning, and my name means stranger. And I sat with that and I thought, wow, stranger. I wonder if I really know myself or if I am a stranger even to me. Am I a stranger to the people around me? Have I ever really opened myself up to be fully seen as who I am? Or is there something that I'm still holding back? And I think all of us go through life feeling somehow less than, like somehow we're not enough. And I'm reading this week Michelle Obama's new book, The Light We Carry, and she's talking about her fear of not being enough. I mean, hello, Michelle Obama, feeling like somehow in some moments she doesn't feel like she's enough. Wow. You see, we're all on a journey and we're all doing our best. And I think there are moments when we really find that light within ourselves, and there are moments when we hide it and bury it and stuff it underneath something because we're so afraid of what someone else will say or think if they were to really see us. But what if we started by really seeing ourselves? What if we started by really embracing who we are, not who we were told to be, not who we were taught to be, not the limitations placed on us by media or family, friends, teachers? What if we took time out of our busy day and our busy schedule to find out who we really are, to stop being a stranger to our own self, and to allow that light to be revealed and to create harmony and love and joy, contentment, peace? Like that to me is a ray of hope. That is a ray of hope. And as I was journaling this morning, I was thinking, wow, who am I? In the grand scheme of things, who am I? I don't know. I know I'm teachable. I'm learning moment by moment and day by day. I am becoming what? Who knows? But there's something in life that's begging to be seen. There's something in life for each of us to really stand in and to shine. On Friday night, we got to I got to be part of a volunteer group who were serving dinner to people who are living with HIV. And it was so wonderful to be able to sit and chat with people who've come to Toronto from all over the world, who are living life with a limitation that I can't comprehend or understand, but I can love them anyway. It's like, who cares, right? We all have our stuff. And so I was able to spend my birthday. It was a wonderful way to spend a birthday with my family because my husband came as Santa Claus and Genevieve was there as a co-host and a performer. And all of these beautiful people, a couple hundred people, we had a meal, we served lots of food, and people sat and talked and danced and shared. And it was just a beautiful time of family. And although we are family from around the world, we're family because we chose in that moment to simply be together as human beings and to honor each other with joy, to eat food together, to laugh together, to dance together, to play with Santa Claus together. It was really a beautiful, beautiful night. And I just felt so uplifted as a result. And I was grateful for Rico, who's one of our board members. Him and his wife, Rosanna, both came and they were carving up turkey and making coffee and setting out desserts and helping out as well. So we had a real showing there of CSL. And I was really, really grateful for that. And the people that I met were so beautiful. And so when we stretch ourselves, when we choose to be in service to humanity, beginning with finding our own self and then looking at others in a new way, making contact eye to eye and heart to heart so that we can see each other, that we can begin to appreciate one another, not for who we think they should be or what we expect of them, but rather just honoring their existence because they draw a breath. In the same way that we would want others to honor our existence simply because we draw a breath. We're here. I invite you to, over this next, forever. I was going to say a few weeks, but you know what? Let's just extend it. From here on in, I want to invite you to find you, to look in the mirror, to see yourself as enough, in fact, more than enough, to see yourself as remarkable, gifted, magnificent, glorious in every way, to look at any mistakes you've ever made and to set them aside. What's done is done. Let it be. But in this moment, on this day, to make a decision, to live from joy, to allow that energy of life to fill you so you dance wild in the street, that you sing on the top of your lungs, even if you're in the Shoppers Drug Mart, even if you have your windows rolled down in your car, to allow your light to shine and to lift others, to dance like nobody is watching. Free yourself. And I'm choosing to free myself, to take that idea of being a stranger to me and to the world and releasing that I might reveal who I really am, regardless of what my family thinks. My parents are no longer here, so I don't have to worry about what they think about what I do and who I am. But there's something, even living up to the expectations of my siblings. It's like, why do we do that? Why do we allow other people to define the parameters of our existence? Joy doesn't come from that. Joy comes from that realization that there is a power within me that is craving expression. There is a divine idea within me that is beyond the limitations of humanity, of the rules and regulations, of the laws of the land, of all of that. There's something more, there's something bigger, there's something remarkable that is screaming to be seen, to be heard, to be appreciated, to be valued. But it has to start here. It has to start here. It's not about you valuing me, it's me valuing me. It's not about me valuing you. It is about you valuing you, seeing you as this brilliant, beautiful, remarkable, gifted, talented, stunning, spectacular individual, bringing light into our world. And remembering that the contentment that we feel, when somebody offers us a kindness, or we're embraced by a close friend, or the joy that bubbles up when we see the smile of a newborn baby, that first smile when they're only a few weeks old, and for the first time they've seen something that absolutely tickled them. I remember Genevieve's first big smile as she's laying in her crib, and she's got these little white teddy bears circling above her, and all of a sudden she just looked up, and it was like she saw them for the first time, and this huge smile spread across her face. And it was one of the sweetest moments to see that the joy was there, and it was just revealed in a moment of acknowledgement of the world around. As we acknowledge the world around us, as we acknowledge what's beautiful about it, rather than complaining constantly about what isn't working. When we begin to acknowledge the beauty of each other, the diversity of each other. In Michelle Obama's book, she talked about looking out onto an audience when she was speaking about the first book that she wrote. And she's looking out, and there's thousands of people, and they're dressed differently and have different hairstyles and come from different places, but they were all there for the same reason. And it was all of this difference, but it was a coming together that created greatness. It was a moment of connection. We are in this together. There is no them and us. There is no them and us. There's life. There's life, that's it, there's life. And it's being us. And it is calling us to do things in a new way. It is calling us to stand for something, to stand in the truth of who we are, to love it, to enjoy it, to appreciate it, to be grateful for it. And I think at this time, there's all this talk of the light, and, we see all the houses decorated with lights, and our Christmas trees in our homes that are decorated with lights. The symbol of light is that spark of eternity that is at the depth of each and every one of us. It's never been dimmed or dulled by any outer event ever. It's there. And we just need to remove the hood that we've put over top of it, the masks we wear that hide the essence of who we truly are from ourselves as well as from others. It is time to free ourselves, to stand in that true, authentic, powerful, glorious self and shine. It's time. Joy is an expectation of possibility. It is an opportunity of delight, and it comes at all times. I've done many memorial services, and I'm always astounded by how it flows and moves from tears and grief to joy and laughter, all within mere moments. as we remember and acknowledge the individual who's passed on. There's something that happens that allows us to revel in the moment, from tears to laughter in a breath. Life isn't meant to be rainbows and cupcakes. It takes rain to make a rainbow. There is an energy of living that is calling to us. And yeah, the last few years have been difficult, but look at some of the good that came of it, because there is plenty. I think about those first few months of lockdown and how animal life flourished. Planet Earth flourished. The flowers, the trees, it flourished when we were taken out of the equation. It's time for us to stop being consumers of everything and to rather commune with life, with nature, and with each other. To take time in conversation and time in maybe just listening to somebody's story one more time. There's a thing I heard about a while ago that I've experienced slightly, but would love to experience again. And it's called the human library. And that's where one person just sits and listens while another person tells their story. No commentary from the listener, just listening. And what we discover when we listen to someone so intently with a desire to understand them, we start to realize that there is very little difference between any of us. There is a great sense of gratitude for life, a joy of wanting our families to do well, our children to do well. We want to experience love, and we want to love. This is natural across the board. And so what we see as difference isn't real. It is fear that separates and love that unites. This is a season of love. This is a season, whether you see it as a religious holiday or if you take it for a secular, joyful time of eating great food and having parties with friends, sharing gifts. However you celebrate this season, I invite you to begin first and foremost by celebrating you, by seeing yourself for the first time for who you truly are, not who you were made into by well-meaning adults or teachers or friends or neighbors or siblings or whoever, but rather delve into the very essence of you. Find you. Find you. And then whatever you find, love what you find. Love it. Love it. Honestly, you are enough. There is nothing true about the things you were told as a child, as a young person, as an adult, even yesterday. Anything anyone has ever said to you has come from their own perception of reality and has nothing to do with you. Find you. No longer be a stranger in your life. Take these few weeks of rest and respite and partying and joy and having great food. Take these few days and allow yourself to breathe. To breathe. To look in the mirror and say, I love you. I really love you. and forgive. Forgive yourself for anything that you believed that led you to think that you were less than, that somehow you weren't up for the challenge at hand. Trust me, you are. You are more than enough. You are brilliant, beautiful, remarkable, gifted presence in a world that so desperately requires your wholeness. This is a brand new day. I invite you to live, to laugh, to play, to let the joy come out, and let that light that is you shine so brightly. Remember the song? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Be the light in your world. Believe me, you're worth it. Thank you.
Greet the morning sky. There's a feeling in the air so rare that you can't deny. Sweeping forward, unrehearsed, spreading over all the universe. An awakening, uncompromising, joy rising. Joy rising, joy rising, joy rising, joy rising, joy rising, yeah, 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 yeah. It's a feel-good vibe you cannot explain. Rolling out at the speed of light, like a runaway train. Like a flash mob celebration, fearless jubilation, an awakening, uncompromising. Joy rising, joy rising, joy rising, joy rising, joy rising, joy rising. It's in the moment of creation when a new idea's born. It's there in the room when you wake on Christmas morn. It's happiness squared times ecstasy. It's a moment of unity. I believe that we'll finally standing at the crossroads of a new frontier. Realization of heaven here and now. Awakening through the dream that escaped us somehow. Joy rising, 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 yeah, 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 yeah. Woo! Can you feel it? Oh, to the joy rising, keep lifting it Keep lifting it up.
Oh, a little bit of joy there for sure. Oh my goodness. Well, there are a couple of announcements. The World Peace Meditation is December 31st, which is a week from Saturday, and it is held at 7 a.m., which is noon Greenwich Mean Time. And millions of people from around the world do join together at that exact moment. So we'll be sending out a Zoom link in the newsletter, and everybody's invited to join in. You can stay in your jammies. You can, however you come is perfect. And it is 1 hour of meditation and music around peace and seeing our world in that way, seeing it as beautiful and expansive and warm and inviting, the way it's meant to be. And we also have the Burning Bowl ceremony coming up, and that is, I think it's going to be held at the Dawn on the Danforth. I've sent them an email to double check the availability for that night. And that is on Monday, January 2nd at 7 p.m. The Burning Bowl is a ceremony of release and renewal. And we're given pieces of paper, led through a beautiful meditation process to allow you to come to terms with what it is you're ready to release. And you write that down on the flash paper, and then you take it to the fire and it burns away. And then we set the intention for something new, something beautiful. So that's the Burning Bowl ceremony, which is January the 2nd. We also have some classes coming up. And the first one is Exploring the Roots. And Exploring Roots is about the foundational teachers who actually taught Ernest Holmes. So it's about Ernest Holmes, it's about Thomas Troward, Emma Curtis Hopkins, and also Ralph Waldo Emerson. And the books that we're going to be reviewing have really powerful teachings in them. So if there's any area of your life that you have felt needs a bit of work, this class is going to give you such rich information, powerful tools in order to make those lasting changes, to create the life that you've really been seeking. And that's called Exploring Roots. It is a 10-week class, and it starts on January the 5th. The other class that we're offering is Mental Equivalence. And mental equivalence is that when we have an idea in mind and we can form it into what we really want, it's like the energy takes that shape and manifests it. So whatever you're seeking in life, if you've been looking at the difficulties in the world around us and you wonder, how do I navigate this? What do I do to create something different, better, brighter? This class is a powerhouse class. It's 5 weeks long, and it's on Saturday mornings. And it is a time of really beginning to create that mold within your own mind that allows you then to manifest the life that you say you want to have. So very powerful class. And of course, everybody can join. That's the joy of these classes, is they're not limited. And if you're planning on becoming a practitioner, of course, these are prerequisite classes for that as well. And we have got our annual general meeting coming up. Now that's going to take place Sunday afternoon, January the 8th, from 3 to 5 or 3 to 4, depending how long it takes. This is where we'll review our finances for the last year, what we've done, what we've accomplished, where we're at, reports from the board members. We will have an opening for board members. So if that's something that you think might interest you, if you are a member, you're able to attend this meeting. If you're not a member as yet, but would like to be, then you can email Deja at admin@cslonthelake.com, and she will send you an application form to take out membership. There's no cost for membership, but there is a form to fill out, and that comes back to the board. And so at that AGM, we will cover everything that we've done in the past year. So that's the news. So at this time, as we as we come into the time of our offering, I want to invite you to think about, what we do here and, how it feels to come here and how is this place serving you? Is it serving you? And if it is, if something said or done tonight has improved your state of mind or made you feel more hopeful or inspired, happy even, then I invite you to support this center in a really positive and generous way. And of course, we're coming to the end of the year now. And so now's the time to bump up your financial giving to charities so that you get a little better tax break come April. Another way to give. So there's a few ways to give. You can give through e-transfer to admin@cslonthelake.com. You can visit our website and just hit the give link, or you can mail a check into our office. However you choose to give, just know that it is supporting our greater vision, that we do also tithe on the money that comes in to other charities. And we also offer any of our members who have, special needs financially or whatever, we do offer scholarships for our classes for people who require that, because what we know is you can heal your life when you've got these tools. And I know for myself, when I first started, I was raising, a couple of teenagers and struggling a little bit. And I was able to take the class because I had somebody support me in doing that. So we're here to support, to sustain, and to create healing all the way around. Well, on that note, let us anchor tonight's service with our closing treatment. And afterwards, stick around and we'll have a little conversation after. So join with me. As I quiet my mind, what I know in this moment is that there's only one power. There's only one thing going on. It's infinite, eternal. It is everywhere present. It is all knowing. It is all powerful. It is the divine essence of this glorious, infinite, universal energy, this substance and form that creates all that is. And what I know in this moment is that I am some part of this infinite intelligence. And because of that, I know that what I seek is seeking me, that what I desire is already here, that what I hope for is my new reality. So filled with love and grace and gratitude and peace, knowing that the world is unfolding in beauty and grace, and that beautiful, dynamic, glorious people just like me are living their best lives. I know that all is well. Trusting that this is the truth, as this idea expands and grows, I say yes. And I release it into the law of mind, knowing it is done. And so it is. And now our closing song, To My People.
From the day that we were born, Mom hugged us with warmth, and we grew because we knew we had all your support. From the fams to the friends, your love was medicine, keep giving us the strength to rise when we would sin, and the knowledge that we gained through every single mistake. But you never backed down through this, you taught me faith. Every single one of you, through being you, you do find a way to spread love and truth through me and you. And it's because of you I grew, because of you I flew, because of you I made it through without residue. Because of you we all have a home to come to. You're a blessing to us all, so keep just being you. To my people, yeah, you're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, you're my truth. To my people, yeah, you're everybody, everything, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah, you're my God, you're my soul, you're my mother, pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah, I bow down to your heart of gold, yeah.
First I think the universe, the infinite, the all. Kacha, Allah, whatever name you call. Then I think the ancestors, yes, our predecessors. The wisdom and the knowledge that they passed only bless us. Shot the Marcus Garvey, MLK, Malcolm Ghani, Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Tupac, they remind me the power of the pen, the music and the voice. Everything they've done let me know I have a choice. Down from my people, mom, pop, sister, brother, best friend, acquaintance, lover, co-worker. Even if I don't do it, what the good that you do helps to see my way through certain space. Sharing on the beat. To my people, yeah, you're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life, and my truth. To my people,
every beat, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah. You're my God, you're my soul, you're the one that pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. I'll bow down to your heart of gold. When I close my eyes, I always see learning souls who walk with me. They're taught to laugh, they're taught to love. You go to hug when push comes to shove. Turn the cheek, forgive, walk away. Tomorrow is another day. Life is short, helping hands to say, are holier than the ones who pray. Yeah, you're my soul, you're my roots, you're my family, my life. You're my people, yeah. Everybody, every beat, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah. You're my God, you're my soul, you're the one that pushes me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. I bow down to your heart of gold. To my people, yeah. I'm all in love with you. To my family, my life, to my people, yeah. Everybody, every beat, every life, every moment, everything. To my people, yeah. I give my soul, my soul, me to help me grow. To my people, yeah. I bow down to your heart of gold. To my people.